What's up guys and welcome to FPL Today. I'm the man in the know, JNO, and welcome to my team for Game Week 29. Points, performance and transfer thoughts, as we've only got 2 days before Game Week 29 kicks off after Game Week 28. So in this episode we're going to quickly go over how my team did, go into the underlying stats to see how players actually did other than scoring FPL points, and then also go over my transfer thoughts for Game Week 29 as we get ready for blanks in Game Week 31 and 33 and doubles in Game Week 32 and 35. So we start off with how I did, and I managed to get 54 points with no transfer hits, which was 1 point above the average. It actually saw me drop in rank because I was in the top 10k to 10,081st, which is only a drop of about 1,000. So it's not a massive drop, and to be honest, the way the game week was looking at certain points, I was worried of a much bigger drop, and it actually saw me rise in some leagues as a lot of the players around me also didn't have the best game weeks. The story of my game week was pretty much Andrew Robertson saving me, and the fact that I was literally 1 or 2 game weeks away from bringing in Trent Alexander-Arnold is also pretty disappointing that I missed out on his hat-trick of assists. But on the plus side, I did get the captaincy choice right. Most people were looking at the likes of Aguero, Aubameyang or Mohamed Salah. And Mohamed Salah actually turned out to be the worst captaincy choice because in a 5-goal win, he didn't get an assist or a goal. Whereas Aguero, in a 1-goal win against West Ham, which was very disappointing for us with Man City assets, managed to get the only goal in that game. Aubameyang did, of course, score in Arsenal's drubbing of Bournemouth as well. So it was fine margins, but the Aubameyang not being in my club didn't hurt me massively. But there were a lot of disappointing performances as well. If we overlook the fact that Robertson was my star man, Lucas Digne did get 5 points when a lot of people have transferred him out. Pogba getting an assist and Aguero getting that goal with my captain's armband on him. No one else did anything apart from Schindler, who was on my bench and didn't come on because Rashford played about 14 minutes. The really disappointing performance though for me was Doherty and Jimenez of Wolves not managing to get any points against Huddersfield. I'm starting to worry a little bit that Wolves may already be thinking about their holiday break after the season is over, and that is something that can happen for teams in the middle of the table. But we will get on to what I'm thinking of doing with my transfers after we dive into the underlying stats a little bit more. So we start off with the goalkeeper and defence as always, and we have transferred in Tom Heaton this game week for 4.8 million. He has come in to take the place of Ben Foster because I didn't particularly like Ben Foster's fixtures, and Tom Heaton of course plays in Game Week 31. Now Burnley have looked very good with Tom Heaton now coming into the side. They look like they are much more organised, much more capable of wins. They haven't actually got that many clean sheets yet, but Tom Heaton has looked in form and I'm hoping for a few clean sheets and to get those that other people aren't potentially getting. So Tom Heaton has come in. Unfortunately, they did lose to Newcastle 2-0. And my Newcastle players didn't get me any points. Yedlin's one of them, I have brought in another. But a 4.8 million, 1 point from 90 minutes, 2 saves. Wasn't the best performance of Tom Heaton, but we're hopeful of points in the future. We'll go to Matt Doherty next at 5.5 million. Nothing returned against Huddersfield. No clean sheet. That was wiped out. But he still did offer some goal threat, as he nearly always does, with 2 penalty area touches, 2 attempts on goal, 1 from inside the box and 1 big chance. So it could have been different if that big chance had gone in, but Matt Doherty not returning any points. Then Lucas Digne, he didn't actually have any attacking threats at all and did pick up a yellow card, but Everton did get the clean sheet. So 5 points from Digne, 5 points that I don't think many other people have gotten because they would have probably dropped him. And then Andrew Robertson at 6.8 million, 13 points from 2 assists and a clean sheet, 90 minutes played, great performance by the Liverpool defence. Him, Van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold all returning points. So if you had 2 of them, you were laughing this game week. Penalty area touches 3, 1 attempt on goal, 1 from inside the box, 2 chances created, 1 big chance. So Robertson was the star man, but Digne also chipping in with some points. It's just a shame that I didn't put Schindler in, but I really didn't see a clean sheet for Huddersfield. We then move on to the midfield, and as you can see, we did bring in Almiron at 6 million for Roberto Pereira. Now, Roberto Pereira hasn't really returned me any points in a while. He has also had an injury, of course, but I kind of wish I'd gone Delafeu, but either way, Watford have a blank in Game Week 31, Newcastle don't, so we've gone with Almiron. I've got a good feeling about him. Watching the game, I was a little bit worried that potentially the class around him isn't good enough to get the most out of him. He was making runs and demanding the ball all over the place, and a couple of times I was like, please, past the Almiron, and they didn't. But he did get chances. He did have a decent underlying threat. 2 penalty area touches, 3 attempts on goal, 2 from inside the box, 1 on target, 1 was a big chance, and 2 chances created. I'm really hopeful Newcastle can kick on with the rest of this season, and Almiron can be a big part of that. And it looks like the atmosphere at St James's Park has changed and it has turned for the better. So I'm hopeful there that this is a punt I've taken that will propel me a bit further in ranking. Then, of course, Son and Salah, disappointing again. 8.9 million and 13.5 million. Total points returned of 5, 2 for Son, 3 for Salah. Son actually got subbed off at 79 minutes, and Son looks like a likely transfer for me because he's not a player I've got much value in. And one thing I'm annoyed at myself about is I haven't stayed on top of my value, because actually some of the players that I've been keeping don't actually have that much value in them, so they wouldn't be too bad to transfer out. Considering Son isn't one I have much value in, he could be the next one on his way out. 2 points, 79 minutes played, 5 penalty area touches, but the problem is 1 attempt on goal, which was from inside the box, but it wasn't on target. And Mohamed Salah, 5 goals were scored and he didn't get involved, which is really disappointing. But he did have 14 penalty area touches with 4 attempts on goal, 2 from inside the box and 2 on target. And to be fair, with the blank game week coming up, I don't really see myself changing to Mane at this point, despite the fact that Mane has been outperforming and getting more FPL points and better value for money than Mohamed Salah. And then Pogba, it looked like he wasn't going to return either, but he did turn up with an assist near the end of the game against Crystal Palace. So that's 5 points from 90 minutes played. 3 penalty area touches, 3 attempts on goal, 1 from inside the box, which was on target, and 2 chances created. Now, Pogba is one I have a lot of value in. So he is one that is likely to be benched during Game Week 31 and is unlikely to move on. That makes Son the most likely to move on because he's the one where I can build value for potential transfers just before Game Week 31. And then we move on to the forwards, and as of course you can see, and I'll start off with it, 1 point from Marcus Rashford at 7.7 million. And now looking at it, I don't actually have much value in Marcus Rashford either, which means I could have transferred him out. The whole plan was to stick with him because I thought I had value in him, and I obviously brought him in later than a lot of people because I can sell him for 7.5 million, so I don't have much value invested in Marcus Rashford. However, Marcus Rashford with his next couple of fixtures looks like a decent shout to stay in the team until about game week 30-31. So Marcus Rashford likely to stay in the team for game week 29. He does have Southampton, so that should be a good fixture for him. Then Raul Jimenez, 6.9 million again, disappointing performance against Huddersfield. 2 points from 78 minutes played, 1 penalty area touch, 1 attempt on goal, 1 from inside the box. Not really the most exciting underlying stats to read. And then we do have Sergio Aguero with the captaincy armband. Fortunately for me, he did score a penalty, 9 points from 84 minutes played, but it wasn't the most exciting performance from Man City, not getting many notifications about them scoring goals. I expected a lot more to be scored against West Ham, but because there wasn't much going on, he did get 3 bonus points, did Sergio Aguero, so decent captaincy option for me. 7 penalty area touches, 3 attempts on goal, 3 from inside the box, 1 on target, which was a big chance, and of course he created 2 chances as well. So I'm looking for Sergio Aguero to do some big things before Game Week 31 because that's the whole reason I've got him instead of Aubameyang. So far, Aubameyang hasn't done better than Aguero in the period that I've owned Aguero, and as long as that continues, I'm going to be happy that I kept him through blank Game Week 27. So we now look at my team for Game Week 29, and we start off in goal. We have Tom Heaton against Crystal Palace at home. I'm hopeful for a clean sheet with a lot of save points in this one. This would be a big differential for me, I believe, if Tom Heaton can do well. And it just feels nice having Tom Heaton back in the side because I have fond memories of him from 2 seasons ago. And then we've got Matt Doherty in defence against Cardiff at home. Hopefully will step up their game. Robertson against Everton away. Who knows what's going to happen in a derby game, but hopefully Liverpool can kick on and do well in that one. And then Yedlin against West Ham away, currently in the side, but it's possible that Schindler, who is Brighton Hove Albion away on the bench, comes in for Yedlin. It was a bit disappointing to see Yedlin dropped in that Newcastle game against Burnley. We will monitor the situation there, but knowing my luck, if I bring Schindler in, he won't get a clean sheet. And then in midfield, we have at the moment Son versus Arsenal at home. The fact that it's at home and it's a London derby, part of me is wanting to keep Son, but it seems to me the most logical transfer out that I can make if I'm going to be using all my transfers before Game Week 31. Mohamed Salah against Everton away. Pogba against Southampton at home, potential captaincy option there, because to be honest, my other captains are playing away. And then Almiron against West Ham away as well. Again, that might be why I go Schindler instead of Yedlin, just to kind of try and hedge my bets with 2 different games. And then up front, we've got Aguero against Bournemouth away. The fact that it's Bournemouth away means he could be a captaincy option, but I am worried that he might get rested after 120 minutes played in the Carabao Cup and then 80 odd minutes played in the game against West Ham midweek. Then we have Jimenez at home. I'm hoping again Wolves actually turn up for this game, and then Rashford at home as well. Hopefully now he's over that injury scare. Again, potential captaincy option, but I think I'm more likely to stick up on Pogba if I go for a Manchester United option. And then on the bench, Button against Huddersfield, unlikely to play. And then I've already spoken about Schindler, but we've got Digne against Liverpool, unlikely to bring him on, and Fraser against Man City, again, unlikely to feature in my side for Game Week 29. So that brings me on to my transfer thoughts, and right now I'm looking at the likes of Son, Rashford and Aguero as my transfers out as I go into Game Week 31. That will allow me to field a full 11 for Game Week 31. The reason those are the players that are most likely to get transferred out is because those are the ones with the least value invested in them. Raul Jimenez and Matt Doherty all have quite a bit of value invested in them, and they probably won't leave until I wildcard, just to try and keep my team value as high as possible to make my wildcard as effective as possible. Aguero, of course, has the fixtures right now, and Rashford has Southampton at home in Game Week 29. So the most logical transfer out right now has to be Son with Arsenal at home. Now, the caveat to that is Spurs do have Southampton away in Game Week 30. However, with their performance against Burnley and now Chelsea, will I wait to see what they do against Arsenal and Dortmund, or do I think it's time to jump off the Spurs bandwagon? Maybe looking at Kane later on in the season. But it just looks to me like Spurs are tailing off a bit, and they have a tough run of fixtures, and they have done this before. So I'm a bit worried about Spurs, and Son didn't impress me in the last 2 games. There is, of course, the chance that I carry over a transfer, but then I'm going to be stuck with the situation of I'm going to want to keep Son in Game Week 30 if I carry that transfer. So then I've got to take out Rashford or Aguero, and I'm going to want to keep Aguero as well. Do I want to take out Rashford for the fixture against Arsenal, where I think Man United could potentially still do well? So it's kind of, who do I think will do better against Arsenal? Do I think it's Spurs at home or Man United away? And right now I kind of feel like Man United are the ones with momentum behind them, so that might be the move I make. But if Son is the transfer out, who am I bringing in? And right now I don't have any Leicester City coverage, and it won't be ideal for me to bring in a Liverpool defender or a Leicester City defender if I am wanting to keep money invested in my Wolves assets, because all my other defenders play in Game Week 31. So Son looks like the most likely transfer out, and to get that Leicester City coverage and to get money back into my bank so I can actually spend it elsewhere before Game Week 31, Maddison and Harvey Barnes from Leicester are the ones I'm looking at most closely. Of course, Barnes will mean I have more money in my bank to make the following transfers after Game Week 29, but Maddison, of course, has a bit more secure place in my mind anyway in that Leicester City side. And with a new manager, Maddison seems to be one that is more likely to keep their place. I'm not saying Harvey Barnes won't keep his place. He has done very well so far this season. So to me, Barnes, the positive side is the fact that he is cheaper. But Maddison, the positive side is I'm more secure in the fact that he should be a main player in that Leicester City side under Rodgers. So Maddison at 6.6, 1.1 million more expensive, has had 5 starts in the last 6 games. He's had no goals but 2 assists with 18 penalty area touches, 16 attempts on goal. Only 6 of those from inside the box with only 2 on target. That's not great shot accuracy. 1 big chance, but he's created 22 chances, but a caveat on that is only 1 of those 22 has been a big chance. Then we go over to Barnes. He started 5 and appeared in 5. No goals again, same amount of assists with 2. Penalty area touches is higher with 37, attempts on goal higher with 21, from inside the box 15, so the ratio of shots and shots inside is much closer. However, only 4 on target, which again isn't a great shot accuracy rate. But he has had 2 big chances to Maddison's 1. He's created 7 big chances, which is a lot less than 22, but he has also created 1 big chance, the same as James Maddison. So I'm probably leaning more towards Barnes, because then I can spend big somewhere else to really improve. And there's always the possibility that if I like the look of a player going into Game Week 31 and they seem to have the form and the fixture that I will take a hit to bring that player in. And the more money I have, the more room I have to make that sort of transfer. So Barnes is the one I'm leaning towards at the moment. It might be a bit of a risk, but right now it's the time of the season where I really want to push forward and get as high a rank as possible. So now is the time I will start to take more risks than I probably would during the rest of the season as I try and find those differentials. So Barnes could be the one coming in for Heung-min Son. Anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, please hit that like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you know when we're going live on the channel and when my videos go up. And with all that being said, I hope you have a great Game Week 29. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.